Imagine if you can get the latest information on exactly what's going on in the world of sales. I mean, getting detailed information on what sales reps need to do right now, what prospects are saying, and what salespeople are stumbling on or improving with. Well, that is why today we have Mr. Sean Callahan. He's from LinkedIn, and we're going to go over the LinkedIn State of Sales. This report is absolutely amazing. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist podcast here on TSC TV on YouTube. I'm your host, Mr. Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you. And today we have Sean Callahan. Sean is coming from LinkedIn, and he works with the content team. He has some amazing insights for us today, specifically around sales. LinkedIn does this report. It's called a State of Sales. And it gives us a glimpse into what sales reps are saying, what prospects are saying, and some of the challenges and opportunities that are out there. This is information that you can take right back to your team and help them. And we're going to teach you how you can get access to this information. Sean's going to share it at the very end of the episode. But before that, let's go ahead and dive in. As Sean goes into the detail, write down some of these things and see how you can apply it to your team. And also, if you haven't done so, please go ahead and hit subscribe. It makes such a big difference when you're able to subscribe to our podcast and folks are able to come in after you and to see it and also see your reviews and just see that you're here on YouTube having a good time. It just makes for a great community. I appreciate you doing that. Thanks so much. Let's go ahead and dive into the episode.
And it's even better for buyers. So that's one of the trends we found that buyers really liked working remotely, and they thought it was easier to buy working remotely, which I thought was a really interesting takeaway from this. Another trend is that sales organizations and managers must adjust to a remote working world and do that now. I think what we found is that's really not going to change much. I think people will obviously go back into offices when they can and have in-person meetings when they can, but remote working is a fact of life now. Companies have proved that they can do that, and it's going to continue because I think there's a lot of advantages for companies in that way. Sales organizations in trend number 3, we found that sales organizations are preventing sellers from putting buyers first. We found, I think that's a big one because we found that sellers say 65% of sellers say that they always put the buyer first.
Yeah.
23% of buyers say that sellers are putting the buyer.
So we have like a 40% gap there, 60 versus about 20.
Yeah, it's a huge gap. And
why?
That's interesting. I think one of the reasons why is that sales professionals believe that they are being limited from putting the buyer first by the way their organization is run. We found that there were a certain number of things that you can do to be buyer first, like offering free content, free training, about being totally transparent about pricing and many other things. And when we asked sellers and buyers about those behaviors, they almost equally, they said that these were crucial to the sales and buying process. But we also found that sellers said that their organizations were doing these behaviors or enabling these behaviors only around 40% of the time, maybe a little bit less. And some of the reasons why they suspect that their organizations were not allowing these practices to be in were limited budgets, maybe not having the skills in their organization to do it, and also short-term results being valued over long-term results, which may be the most important piece of that.
What could be one of those short-term results that you could think about that may be inhibiting the long-term?
I think the biggest one would be quarterly results, right? That you have to deliver on the quarter. I mean, it's an age-old problem in sales. And one of the interesting things that we've been finding in the past and this year too is that sales organizations are trying to move towards measuring longer-term metrics that would lead to customers sticking around longer, et cetera. Like they're looking more at customer satisfaction, looking more at customer retention as the key metrics in their organization, as opposed to individual quota met or team quota met. Those obviously remain important. You have to deliver, top line results, but they're trying to look more for the longer term rather than focusing on those short term meeting quota, meeting Wall Street's expectations, et cetera, for larger companies.
So it's fascinating that I chuckled when you first mentioned it because
we asked buyers in the buyers half of this survey that we did, what 6 sales behaviors are killing deals, and we found it. And it was interesting to see this finally like put down on paper with numbers. But the number one thing that buyers dislike from salespeople is just delivering misleading information about a product, its price, etc. That was number one, and that's sort of like the age-old perception of the salesperson as being like a used car salesman. But that is still like the hugest thing. You have to be transparent, or as transparent as you can be. Number 2 on this list was not understanding my company and its needs. I think everybody has had a salesperson come to them and not understand what your role is and that you wouldn't be the person buying something. I think a lot of people find that annoying, and these days with the amount of data out there, just a little bit of preparation and you can really have a much better understanding of not only the company you're calling on, but the exact person you're calling on and what they're doing. I think these are kind of easy things to overcome. Another one is not understanding their own product or service. If a salesperson comes and can't really explain how the product or the service can help, that's an issue, and that's number 3 on the list. Number 4 was, I was kind of surprised by how high this was, but not understanding their competitors' products and services. I think buyers really value a salesperson who has a full grasp of not only what their product does, but where it fits into sort of the ecosystem of an industry. And that's something that buyers are finding very valuable. Number 5 on the list is affiliated with a brand I don't trust. And that's hard for a salesperson to overcome, but for me as a marketer, it speaks to this idea that one of the best things you can do for a sales team is build a great brand for them.
Yeah.
And so, I'm always for salespeople and marketers working much more closely together. And I think branding is one way that, and not focusing just totally on the bottom of the funnel, but building a brand that a buyer trusts broadly is hugely important. And then the number 6 was also not surprising that it's on the list. Maybe it's surprising that it's so low, but cold calling or emailing me repeatedly is another sort of deal killing behavior.
So you telling me I can't put you in my automation and just kind of send out those same blanketed emails over and over, and then this is
behaviors. And trend 5 is sales technology is providing the key pathway to building trust. And Donna, we were just talking about that when you were talking about like sending an actual piece of mail to somebody. I think the sales technology, especially now in the COVID era, is sort of the first way you build trust. You do it even before the first outreach. You do a little bit of research on the person and their company so that you have an understanding of their needs. You can also just use Google to sort of figure that out. LinkedIn is a valuable piece there as well. And if you do, we found in this research that 40% of sales of buyers don't describe only 40%. I'm sorry, only 40% of buyers describe salespeople as trustworthy.
Wow.
And I think that's an old kind of perception, because we also found in this survey that 89% of buyers describe salespeople as trusted advisors. So what I think is happening there is that at the beginning, there's this broad sort of branded ideal of the salesperson as sort of maybe somewhat untrustworthy.
Yes.
But the salesperson that you do business with, those are the ones you trust. So it's getting from point A of being like vaguely untrusted to point B of being a trusted advisor, that really what the sales process is all about. And sales technology, especially in this COVID era, but I think also moving forward, is a tool to gain trust and provide valuable information from the salesperson to the buyer, almost even before you begin interacting. From the first piece of outreach.
Bro, that is so good. And I just wrote about that part in a sales textbook that I'm writing with
people to sort of ask questions, or you can't get to a conference or whatever, and sort of meet people and feel them out and find out what they need. You have to do it online, but also there's and the only way to do that is through aggregated data like there is on LinkedIn and elsewhere, where you can find out about your potential buyers. But there's also sales organizations, sales managers, CROs are using more data to sort of figure out what accounts to target. And LinkedIn Sales Insights helps there, our new LSI product, designed for sales ops to sort of help figure out what geolocations to target, what accounts to target, what industries to target based on LinkedIn data. There's also, much more measurement going on. We talked a little bit before about how do you measure sales performance, and that's changing. And data, as one of the experts that we talked to said, it's table stakes now. I mean, you can't really run a sales organization without really focusing on data, and it's sort of the light shining through in the darkness.
Oh, so good, man. I couldn't agree with you more on that. And I think you're right. The pandemic did help us to recognize that.
We found that 74% of sellers say that they are committed to expanding their LinkedIn network in 2021. And we have a bunch of other additional data about 51% of sellers told us they plan to write more articles for LinkedIn this year. 40% say they're sharing much more third-party content, and another 36% say they're sharing much more of their own company's content. And to me, it speaks to this idea that sales tech, whether it's LinkedIn or Gong or any of the other, so that's sort of like our LinkedIn little short link /State of Sales 2021. So it's lnkd.in/State of Sales 2021.
Perfect. Guys, go ahead and take advantage of that. Connect with, get access to that report, and I know you're going to love it. If they want to get access to you, Sean, and start connecting with you, what's the best place for them to go about doing so?
Oh, yeah. You will connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can just email me at scallahan@linkedin.com. We'll be happy to talk about state of sales or anything else you want to talk about.
Well, I love it, man. And also
the White Sox. I'm very into the White Sox this year.
And the White Sox, Miami Marlins. Wasn't that amazing? That was absolutely amazing. Go ahead and connect with Sean. You can find him on LinkedIn, of course. You can find all of his information down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and click on the link and connect with him. Also, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, go ahead or Spotify, get onto our show notes, and you'll see the information there to connect with Sean. Just tell him that you found him on the Sales Evangelist podcast, and I know he'll be super happy and super excited for you. Listen, we want to go ahead and help you. We want you to thrive and to succeed. So go ahead and download this report, share it with your team. Tell them how they can take advantage of it and break it up. Use it in your team meetings weekly so you can get a better understanding and digest this stuff. As always, I share this stuff because I want you to succeed. I want you to find more of your ideal customers. I want you to know how you can take advantage of the tools our sponsors are using to grow your business. I want you to be able to know how to build value every single time you talk to a prospect. I want you to close more deals, but most importantly, I want you to raise your level of thinking. I want you to raise your level of belief, and I want you to go out each and every single day and do big things. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video today. If you enjoyed the content, I ask you to go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up at the bottom right-hand corner. Also, to make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. This way, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest sales strategies, latest tools, and things that are going to help you to not only find more prospects, but to close more deals. Thanks so much.